Hi everybody, and welcome back to our kitchen. How many times on a Sunday afternoon or a weekend where you're busy as heck and you don't really feel like cooking dinner? I'm going to show you a one-pot Instapot recipe for chicken enchilada, green chicken enchilada soup. Now this came about because I make a really cool chicken enchilada casserole, which I'll post later on. And everybody loves it, and I thought, well, why can't I put the flavors together? And I checked in my pantry, and I thought, this is really going to be easy. So I want to show you how we're going to do it. First of all, you're going to need, I did a half of a red onion. That's the ones that look like this. And then I'm chopping up some garlic to put in it. I want to show you the easiest way for me to chop it. I take the end off, and then I lay it on its side, and I take the knife and I hit it. Then you squeeze it and it takes the peel right off. And these are about 4 cloves of garlic, because we like garlic, and I'm going to chop it up here a little bit to make it finer. I hope everybody's having a good day. We're getting ready to go into spring now. It's still cold out. I consider it cold. 40s, 50s, that's cold to me. But anyways, it's not cold for a lot of people. But I hope that you're enjoying your day. And I hope that I can bring you a recipe that you can make easily. Okay, that's done. Now I have my Instapot here. And it's a one-pot cooker, is what I'm trying to say. You can easily do this on the stove. The thing about this thing is it saves you from standing over the stove over a pot of soup, stirring and stirring. Also, this concentrates the flavors into whatever you're making. Another thing I have to mention is when our kids were here, I'd make a pot of stew this big. This way it regulates us for the 2 of us, and I'm not making tons of soup that will get sick of the leftovers. So what you want to do is you want to push the saute button on your Instant Pot. Now you got to wait till it says hot, and then you're going to add, well, I'm going to put it in now. It's on. It's telling me it's on. 2 to 3 tablespoons of I use olive oil because this is a dairy-free recipe. Before I might have put butter in there, but I'm using olive oil. This is my mainstay for my cooking. I'm going to go ahead and put the onions in there. When you use your knife and you scrape towards your hand like this, be very careful. I've been cooking a long time. You can also go like this and scoop it in. Turn it over. Okay, you don't want to put your garlic in yet because it'll burn. You want to get these onions started. Gotta find my gadget. Here's my gadget. This is really great for Instant Pots, because one thing you have to do when you're cooking with them is to make sure the bottom is scraped off. If it's got any gunk down in there, it's going to give you the burn button. It's going to tell you it's burning. Now, you got to remember too that when you got a lot of stuff in the bottom, if you add liquid, it's going to bring that off the bottom, and you can scrape it with this and get all that off, and it won't give you a burn. Okay, I'm going to let this cook for a while, and we'll be back to show you what the next steps are.
Great.
Okay, now I'm putting in my garlic. The onions have softened, and just tell you about the red bell peppers in there. I had some chopped bell peppers, onions, and cilantro from the other day when I made guacamole, and I didn't want it to go to waste. It adds flavor to it anyway. So now I'm putting in the garlic. You don't cook the garlic very long because you don't want to burn it. Smells really good in here. Now you could put the whole onion in there. If you don't have a red onion, just use white onion. If you don't have any onions, if you have some dried onion flakes in the cupboard, use that. Okay, now I have a 1/4 cup of Masa flour. This is corn flour that they use in Mexican dishes, and it gives it a corn taste to it. And you have to have corn taste if you're thinking of enchiladas, because most of them are made with corn tortillas. Now, if you don't have Masa flour, you can take some corn tortillas and grind them up in your food processor and put that in. And the reason I'm doing it this way, if you're making it on the stove, you can cut those tortillas up in small pieces. Because of the fact you're stirring it, it'll dissolve into the soup. But this won't dissolve. I tried it before and I still had pieces of tortilla. So I'm putting the flour in there, and I'm going to make a roux out of the oil that's down in the pot. This is our thickener. I went through my pantry and I found that I had a 28-ounce can of green enchilada sauce that I need to use pretty soon because of the expiration date. So I'm using that. Also, a very good thing to have in your cupboard is cans of chicken. Now I use this for chicken salad sandwiches in the summertime. But the thing about this, what I'm making here, you're not chopping any raw chicken. You're just dumping and going. So first of all, we're getting to where we don't want to burn this in here. We stirred it in with the oil, and I'm seeing that some stuff is sticking to the bottom, so I'm going to add my chicken broth. We're going to use a whole carton, 32 ounces of chicken broth, which is 4 cups. We'll add that in. Now this is going to help take that stuff off the bottom of the Instant Pot. So it won't give us a burn notice. And I like to get a whisk for this because the fact of the flour, I need to get it incorporated in there. Try to not get any lumps in there. It looks pretty good so far. I'm splashing all over the place. Don't make sure I don't splash the cameraman, for sure. Okay, I don't feel much on the bottom of the pot now. Okay. Next, we're going to add our green enchilada sauce. Now this is Las Palmas green chili enchilada sauce. Now read the labels, because I actually had a manufacturer change a sauce that had no wheat flour in it, and then all of a sudden it had wheat flour in it, and I couldn't eat it. So I emailed them and I told them, what are you doing? So then they took it out, so everybody's happy. Most of your enchilada sauces now do not have wheat in it. Okay, next we're going to put a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. Now this is optional. I just like, you can't even taste it. It just gives it a boost on flavor because it's got vinegar in it. Now here I have some spices. I have a teaspoon of cumin, teaspoon of coriander, and a teaspoon of Montreal spicy steak seasoning. If you don't like spicy, you can leave it out, but all it is red pepper flakes, salt, and black pepper. I also, to give it some color, picked up some packets of this Sazon. And what this is here, in this one, it's not a chicken bouillon. It's a Anchote seed ground up. And what Anchote is a orange seed that they use for coloring in Mexican restaurants. Now I had to read my chicken bouillon that I was going to put in here, and it said may contain wheat, so I left it out. Now I have the chicken. I'm going to mash it up here with a fork, just break it up a little bit, put it in, juice and all. all the juice. And we decided the first time I made it, I only did 1 can, which you can do, but we decided it needed more chicken. So I'm going to do 2 cans today. And then I'm going to do a can of corn. Don't drain it. That juice gives it flavor. And then I'm going to add 2 cans of chili beans, Bush's chili beans. Now the reason I like these is because they have a chili powder in them. Now if you don't have chili beans and you're using regular pintos, you can put a teaspoon of chili powder in your soup. 2 cans. We decided we needed more beans the last time. It's getting towards that line at the top. There's a line on Instant Pots that you can only fill it that far, or else it won't pressurize. And we're getting towards the top. I only have one more thing, and that's a 4-ounce can of diced green chilies. Okay, folks, let's get it stirred up. What happened to my stir?
Right in front of you. It's right by you.
Oh, duh. Old women do a lot of duh stuff. Duh. Look how good that looks with the ancho in there. It's not bland looking. I'm breaking up some of those chicken chunks. We're getting ready to celebrate St. Patty's Day here pretty soon. We're getting ready for spring and I can't wait. The daffodils are starting to come up in my yard. And I don't feel any gunk on the bottom of this soup. I'm not adding any salt because of the fact that some of these products have salt in them. So I'm going to wait till the end when I taste it to add salt. Okay, what I need to do is put the lid on. I think it's good to go. Push the vent button to sealed, or non-vent, I guess it's what they call it. And then I'm going to push the saute button off by pushing cancel. And then I'm going to put pressure cook. And there's a time on it. I'm going to do 10 minutes. And that's on normal, because it says normal on the front. I wish I could show you that, but I always push down on the lid to stop it from not sealing right, and we're going to let it go for, it actually takes 10 minutes to, or 15 minutes to come to a pressure, and then we're going to let it cook for 10 minutes. And we'll be back to show you what the finished product looks like. Okay, now we're back, and I've released the Instant Pot steam. And what we're going to do is finish off this soup. I'm going to stir it. I have a lime wedge here that I've learned that if you cut them like this instead of in wedges, they don't squirt all over the kitchen and you, because they're a wedge and they just squeeze out the juice through the holes. It's a little trick I learned. The reason I'm doing this is it adds a little bit of acid to it. Whoops. And perks up the flavor. I also have some cilantro here that I cut. Now's the time to put it in, because I didn't put it in the beginning. You want it to have that fresh flavor of the cilantro and the pretty green leaves too. If I put it in here earlier, it would be all gray and stuff like that. Okay, now I haven't put any salt in this. Reason being is I didn't know how much salt the ingredients would add to it. So I'm going to taste it, and if it needs more seasoning, perfect. Okay. Let me dish it up for you. Lots of chicken, lots of beans, and we got our corn, and the corn flavor from the masa. Then what I like to do, and I want to add something else here too. If you're not dairy free, this is the time to put your cheese in and let it melt. I would suggest 2 cups of cheese, which is one of those bags in the grocery store, and put it in there and let it melt. That way you can get your cheese. I bought these tortilla strips at the grocery store, and they're just a little bit of crunch to add on top of your soup. Now I hope you like and subscribe our channel. I'd like you to come along on my journey to show you different gluten-free, dairy-free dishes that you can make easily at home. And I hope I'll see you soon. Thank you.